Are the results of African national teams enough to prove that African football is experiencing a true renaissance? If we look only at the numbers, Africa recorded just one victory, 4 draws, and 4 defeats in the opening round. At first glance, this may seem like an average or even disappointing record. However, a deeper analysis tells a very different story. First, football progress should not be measured solely by the number of wins, but by the ability to compete with the world's strongest teams. Today, African nations no longer enter the World Cup simply hoping to make a respectable appearance. They enter with the ambition of competing and achieving results against the very best. Ivory Coast may have been the only African team to secure a victory, but limiting the analysis to the fact alone would be misleading. Morocco, for example, earned a draw against Brazil, one of the leading favorites to win the tournament. More importantly, many observers felt that Morocco was the better side for long periods of the match. A point earned against Brazil can sometimes be worth more than a victory against a less competitive opponent. The same applies to other African teams. Egypt held Belgium to a draw, Cape Verde earned a valuable point against Spain, and DR Congo forced Portugal to share the points. These results show that African teams no longer fear the traditional football powers. They are now capable of matching them tactically, physically, and intellectually. The real revolution in African football does not mean that every African team must win. It means that every African team now steps on the field believing it can compete and even defeat the world's elite. A few years ago, the objective was often to avoid a heavy defeat. Today, the objective is to earn points and challenge for victory. Moreover, Morocco's historic run at the 2022 World Cup has changed the mentality across the continent. African teams now believe that reaching the quarterfinals, semifinals, or even the final is no longer an impossible dream, but a realistic ambition. Therefore, the main message from the opening round is not that Africa managed only one victory. The real message is that African teams have shown they can stand toe-to-toe with the biggest football nations in the world. If they can learn from their mistakes and turn strong performances into victories, this World Cup could become the most successful tournament in the history of African football. Globe Europe Africa Soccer Ball Fire.